Hey gang, how's it going? If you're new around here, I'm Kathy Robinson Pickett, and I'm the founder and director of Friends Together. And on our social media, we talk all things Friends Together, social justice, health, and mental health and wellness. And lately, I've been doing it with the hubs.
Hi, I'm Troy.
He's still getting used to it, but thank you for everybody who's been sending the questions and the comments. Again, if you're new, social media is new to my husband. And somebody asked me the other day, why is social media new for your husband? And it's because he's had jobs and positions where social media was definitely not an encouraged kind of thing. And so he's like a toddler. Well, he's moved up. He's more like a middle schooler right now because I come in the living room and he's scrolling TikTok, and I'm thinking, man, if this was Garrett, I'd be taking the device away at some point, but
20 years ago.
So he's...
Garrett would fight you for it now.
Yeah, Garrett would fight me for it. Actually, our kids have very little social media presence at all. Lindsay has none. She has a Facebook, but she doesn't use it. And Garrett uses his Instagram for work and his Facebook. He's got a Facebook for work. But if you look at the last time he posted something on his Facebook, I guarantee you, I will 100% promise that you'll find things from me and Jessica on his Facebook, and buried 3 or 4 weeks ago, you'll find a post from Garrett. And so our kids aren't typical because they're 31 and 32, and that's definitely not the typical thing, but it definitely is probably much better for people's mental health. I will agree with that for sure. Today, Troy and I are going to keep following up on the parents thing because it's been really interesting how engaged you guys have been. I've gotten texts and calls. Yesterday, Bob from Arkansas, who is retired and in his 70s, but is in a position where he's got an elderly sister and brother-in-law that are failing in health. It's been great, the feedback we've been getting and the questions. And so this week, Troy's dad had his normal infusion, but before his infusion, he had an appointment to decide what he's going to do with the rest of his care. So Troy went, and I was on the phone. And so I texted Troy, and I said, what's his weight? And so what went from there?
Okay. So I wasn't with him. They do the wait when they do the labs, and they have a waiting room for accompanying people with the patients for while they get their labs done. So that's where I was. So I missed the wait this time. So I asked when we got into the room to wait for the doctor, I asked him what his weight was, and he said it was 108. So a little over 2 months ago, when I came home and started focusing on the telehealth and started focusing on helping Kathy with our parents, he was 97, 98 pounds. I have been cooking and cooking and cooking.
And cooking. And cooking.
And, I know the stuff that he likes. We're Southern. My mom used to cook really well. Both grandmothers. We're multi-generational Southern Florida, and that, along with the food. So I know how to cook the things that he's going to eat. And I know how to slip a few extra calories in. So that's what I've been doing. And I was ecstatic when he said 108. I just couldn't believe it. He's so thin. He looks like a cute little alien. But I couldn't tell it was 108, and I was just really happy.
It's an interesting thing because those of you that are in my real life, you know that weight is an ongoing battle for me forever. And Troy's yo-yoed a lot in the last few years. And so this is dark humor, but when I got diagnosed with HIV, one of my very first thoughts was, oh, I'm going to get to be skinny. It never happened. Never happened. So I'm coming home, and Troy, a few weeks ago, homemade mushroom ravioli. What the heck? And then homemade brisket with homemade mashed potatoes and like whatever else he puts in these mashed potatoes to make them taste like crack. So it's been, I'm trying not to gain weight on his cooking, but it's been amazing. And you've been taking food to mom and dad.
Yeah. So whenever I cook enough for 2 to 3 days. So 'cause I just can't do it every day. It really takes me a long time. A little over a year ago, I fell off a ladder and jacked up my back. So it takes me, I can't stand for long periods of time. So it takes me a little while to do it. Where I'm used to, before 2 years ago, I would have the whole meal done in like an hour and a half. It's not an hour and a half now. But, I make enough to where I can take the in-laws, the meals and the pies, and last week it was a coconut cream pie from scratch, everything except the crust, and it was amazing. Yesterday was lemon meringue pies, the same, and they're good. They're better than Perkins.
Way better. So both of our fathers need pounds. My mom is like me.
And my dad's best friend is Little Debbie.
Yes, Wendell's best friend is Little Debbie. So, before you guys come at me, because I know some of you will come at me about call cooking, everyone knows what their limitations are. I have kept Wendell fed, okay? And my mom does a lot of cooking, and my mom always sends Wendell stuff when she cooks. Troy married me knowing I don't cook. Steve married me knowing I don't cook. And even Dan married me knowing I don't cook. The only thing my three husbands have in common really is that they all are good cooks. And so that was on the checklist at some point. But anyway, what Bob was talking about last night is, those sorts of things. It's not direct medical care a lot of times that people need. It's
supportive.
Right. And so what are some ideas?
It was really nice with Bob, because Bob is retired from the military and the mental health field. So it was really good to have some really good feedback about the videos that he's watched, because I know how flat I am. I mean, that's just me. But that wasn't a comment. I guess the information we provided and the way that we provided it was connecting. Is connecting. So that's a really good thing.
So one of the things I tell my kids all the time, since COVID, is there may come a day that your mom or your mom and Troy need to be in assisted care, and that's fine. You do not feel like you have to do what we're doing. We are able to do what we do because, well, up until now, I've been able to do it because of the job I have, right? And the proximity of my parents. When my parents retired, they literally bought the house across the street. And when Troy's mom died, we moved Wendell in. And so we didn't move him in. Well, yeah. He asked. He asked to move in. Absolutely.
Keep the choice there.
Absolutely. He asked to move in. But the point is that we have the proximity, right? We have that ability. So I tell my kids all the time, if you have to put me in an assisted living facility, that's fine, but you better send me Uber Eats. You better be sending me Uber Eats, because I'm not eating food, institutional food, every day of my life, because I will haunt you. But what are some ideas for folks that their parents aren't under their roof or right across the way? What are some things that people can do to help with nutritional support or other support that we know they need?
So, there is Uber Eats. If you don't live next to them, and if you don't live close to them at all to where you can, I don't think nobody's going to do, everybody's not going to do what we're doing. They can't. But if you have the means, send them
their favorite
their food, right? That that they're going to eat. Try to add a little dessert to it, if they need to add on weight. And when you have the chance, make something. I can tell you that even if you're not the best cook, because you made it, they're going to eat it.
Right. Well, and you can also, like, even if you live a couple hours away, if you make up a giant thing of lasagna and you cut it into portions and put it in the freezer, and all they have to do is microwave it.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because, you know, so for people who don't have an appetite, when they see a huge lasagna, it doesn't make them hungry. It makes them sick to their stomach.
Well, and it also makes them feel like
it's overwhelming,
and they're going to waste it if they cook it.
So if you send it already cut up and portioned to the small portions, you're more than likely going to have success with them eating it.
And so one of the things we do around here, and again, this has nothing to do with caregiving really, it's because we're from the South. Okay, I'm 7th generation native Floridian.
I don't even know.
He's at least that or more, and we eat in the South. So we always have to-go containers, right? We get them at Sam's. We send people home with food. That's what we do in the South. But my mom, I don't know how she came about these containers, but she came about these little black containers with the plastic lids that are totally microwavable safe.
Walmart, they're excellent.
And maybe that's where she got them in the beginning. But when Lindsay got married, I ordered an entire giant case of them off of Amazon because I knew we would have a lot of food left during that week from all the events. And you can reuse them, multiple times. And so there's, you don't have to buy the fancy stuff online. I know they advertise, all the silicone reusable container, all that stuff. You know what? If you send that, then somebody's got to wash it and then they got to get it back. These disposable containers are cheap.
Yeah.
They're cheap and it's easy.
And they don't have to wash it.
And they don't have to wash it.
They do. Ours do, but...
Yes, they do.
They don't have to?
Yes, they do. And they send it back. But you don't have to. Yeah, it's fine.
They do it because they can.
Right, because it's true. So, we're gonna do a whole series on different things you can do for your parents, but and this isn't just your parents. This is anybody you have in your life that needs support in any way. But I can tell you, food is the most important thing. I'm going to end with this story that Troy probably has never even heard. But when Steve died, I think all our friends thought Lindsay and Garrett were going to starve to death. Like I was going to not take care of them. And so for months, I would come home. We never locked our door in Lakeland because all the college kids, everybody came in and out. But for months, I would come home and people would have come to the house and they would have left food in the refrigerator or in the freezer with instructions on how to heat it up and how long. And I didn't have to cook. And I didn't have to worry about food. And when I tell you that took such a load off of me. So this doesn't just have to be for if you've got aging parents or sick people in your life. If you have somebody who's lost a loved one that is overwhelmed, or if you have a single mom in your life that you feel like, how can I support her? That is a way, right? Just doing those little things like that. I can't tell you how much difference it makes. And the last thing I'll say is, if you see me gaining weight, keep your thoughts to yourself, all right? This man can cook. I'm eating. I know I'm eating. I know I need to be back in the gym. But, my boot camp guy, Steve, and yeah, he checked out on me, literally. He's on the other side, so he can't even help me this go around. So, that's just that. So, anything else?
No, I think we're going to do another one.
Absolutely. So be looking. If you haven't liked Troy's pages, please do. Please go to his professional page, which is Troy Kilpatrick.
PMHNP-BC.
I'm never going to get the initials right.
No.
Ever. And but if you want to friend him in real life, he's got a page, and it's Troy Kilpatrick. Regular Facebook now is Troy Kilpatrick. He's in an orange shirt. Somebody told me yesterday he looked like an inmate. He looks like Carlton from South Park in the shirt. So you'll find it. You'll know. Isn't it Carlton? No. Who do you look like? I don't watch South Park, but I don't know.
Hartman?
Somebody said Is there a South Park character?
Eric Cartman.
Maybe I got the wrong character. I don't know. But anyway, he's in an orange.
I was thinking about just changing my profile picture to Eric Cartman since I look like an inmate in mine. So.
Okay, well, he's in an orange shirt. But he also has a TikTok, and his TikTok is
Troy K at 63 or something
Troy
like that?
K at 63, I think.
At Troy K 63.
And please follow him. We're trying so hard to build up his social media, and he's going to start making other content than just mental health stuff. So follow him. He needs to follow us. And thank you guys, and we love you all. And take good care.
Happy Friday.
Be the boss of your brain.